far as I can tell, there is no formal framework for what we as employer branders do all day long, every day, week in, week out, year in, year out. There's a lot of thinking around how do you communicate, or what is an employer value proposition, and what is the connection between culture and value proposition, and how do you communicate that, and what you do on the career side, and what you go on social, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of thinking around that, but there's no formal structure to put it all together in one spot so that you can be sure that the thinking you do around what is our competition doing, what are we talking about, what do our candidates care about, how do we talk about that stuff, how do you put it all in one framework that someone could say, oh, I see it all in one spot. And I thought to myself, isn't that the piece that we need? Isn't that the piece that would really help not only employer branders do great work, but also help communicate our great work to the world, to marketing, to TA, to leadership, to new hires, to advocates, to people who we want to hire to be in our own team to help us do this work, social comms, all that stuff. This might be a framework that makes it clear how we operate and what we should be doing to attract the talent we actually want. So I put on my thinking cap for like about 4 years. And some of you have seen some of the pieces of it. Perhaps you've heard of SADR, specific, attractive, different, real. Perhaps you've heard about MER. And there's little ideas that were floating around, but it wasn't until the last year that I really put it all together. And I made myself a framework, a canvas. Actually, there's one right back here. Look at that. It's a canvas. And it's an idea that's, I stole from many other smart people, this idea of, well, if you just walk through a framework and kind of do it piece by piece, it makes the process of building an employer brand just a little bit easier, just a little more straightforward, just a little bit more clear, because so often what we do is hard to understand, or obtuse, or abstract, or just, I'm not sure what this is all about. And when I came up with the canvas, I came up with this. This is the new book. This is coming out January 5th. And I want to talk about it because this is my new podcast. Because in the book, there we go. I got a canvas, and I want to explain it. And I want to explain how it works. And I want to show you how you use this canvas to build your own clear employer brand. Spoiler. I'm saying the word employer brand a lot, but I'm going to tell you right now, this thing, and it just has that line. It won't have that line when it goes in a full print. This is still a proof. When this thing goes live and you see it for real, you will understand that it is in fact a stealth weapon. I already know you understand employer brand and you get employer brand, and I don't really have to get you excited about employer brand, but I would love to get your boss excited about employer brand. I would love to get your leadership excited about employer brand. I would like to get marketing excited about your employer brand. I would like other people, other teams, other function, other office to go, yeah, that sounds great. I want lots of that, instead of the usual dog being shown a card trick face we get, right? Right? I'm not alone here, right? You've had it happen too. I know you have. So to make all this come together in a clean, smooth, simple process, I've decided to relaunch the podcast around the book, because the thing is about the canvas is that it helps if you see it work. Now, I have 3 case studies in the book, so I'm not leaving you hanging there. It's not a completely abstract book, but I thought, boy, what if every week I could pick a company and run through the canvas for that company? Wouldn't that be useful? Maybe it's a company you know. Maybe it's a company you compete with. Heck, maybe it's you. I know. Terrifying. Me too. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. So I got myself some new technology. It's not new. I've had it for a little while, and I didn't buy it for this. Can't, tax write-off would have been nice, but no. I got myself an iPad. You saw already. I got myself a little pencil. I know, it's crazy. And I'm going to walk you through how I would fill out a canvas for a given company. Now, the question I had at that stage was very simply, which company? I mean, there's only 50 million companies out there. I mean, okay, let's assume that we're just talking about the ones that work in English. There's 20 million companies out there, and I don't know how to choose that. That's insane. So what I did is I put together a report earlier this year about the 50 most disruptive companies and how they are recruiting, the content and communication they're putting out around recruiting. Now, I didn't pick those disruptive companies. I let CNBC do that. Thank you, CNBC. I appreciate your help here. And I put a whole report and I said, I scraped all their content and I say, tell me about these companies and what they're doing really well. What are some outliers? What are some interesting things? And if you want to download that report and if that sort of thing sounds interesting, there's a link in the somewhere. I'll make a link. I'll make a link. But I'm going to use that as my baseline. I'm going to use that to start this process of talking about how to use the canvas to build an employer brand, to make your employer brand more clear, to make the thinking, the process, it doesn't feel like, the Hallmark card or the bumper sticker or the happy shiny thing you stick on a poster that everybody goes, this is an employer brand. No. This is a canvas that's designed to help you get through the stuff, through the muck, through the mess, and through all the garbage into and distilling into something useful, valuable, actionable to you and your company. Load the canvas. Later, we're going to work on teleportation, and I'm going to order some Earl Grey tea hot. It's the haircut. What can I say? Anyway, that's a joke for nerds of a specific age and type. How are you doing today? Anyway, and the company was Sierra. Sierra is a AI company, like I said, not super shocking in terms of a disruptive company and a good kind of thing to start with, given how everybody's thinking about AI this time of year, and apparently the last couple of years. They are a well-funded startup, a lot of good names, big names in the space. So this is the canvas. It's a blank canvas. What we're going to do is we're going to draw on it and write it out and spell it out as if I was auditing and running through a company I know or I was working with. Now, obviously, we're only going to be able to work with external data, and that's fine. When you do your own, you're going to have a lot more access to a lot more internal data, which is all well and good. But this should show you how it works. So to start, at the very top of the canvas is the survey section. Now, the survey section is all about understanding and auditing your competition. How are you different from other people? The goal is to talk about things that are different or talk differently or understand the ways in which you're different, the things you could do that are different. And you can't know that you're doing it differently unless you look around first. If you say you're the only spotted dog and you don't look around, you may not realize you're in a pack of Dalmatians, in which case being the spotted dog, not as useful as you might think. It's not going to differentiate your value. So we have to always start with looking outside ourselves and surveying the landscape, okay? So to do that, we use the FCE model. That is focus, claims, and evidence. That is, if I'm looking at a company, what is their focal point? What are they talking about the most? What are some of those claims around that idea? And how much evidence is there to back those claims up? As I talk about in the book, claims without any proof are worthless claims. And the whole goal is to create value for the candidate, which, spoiler, it is. And you should read the book and you should understand how you can create value for the candidate. Trust me. We want to focus on understanding what the company is saying, understanding the claims around it, and understanding the proof around it. So we're going to focus on a single company. We could talk about a lot of different companies, but we're going to focus on one because we only have a limited amount of time. As an AI company, they have lots of competition, people they could be competing with. They could say, okay, let's compete against OpenAI, which is kind of like me saying, I just started boxing. Where's Mike Tyson? That's a bad idea. That's a really, really bad idea. When you're competing, yes, you eventually want to get to the point where you're competing against the best and the heavyweight champs, et cetera, et cetera. But when you start, you should compete against people who are roughly your weight class, roughly your level of experience, so that you don't get crushed just like grape. This, again, is another joke for people of a certain age. So we're going to focus on a competitor which is roughly the same size, shape, state as Sierra is, and that is Replicant. Full disclosure, I have used Replicant. In fact, I still do use Replicant. It is the way in which I generate photos of me either doing magic tricks or looking artistic or, getting golden hour sun glare in my photos, right? It's a cool AI tool for photo and video generation. If you've seen my recent video on those of you suffering from job board derangement syndrome, much of that video footage is AI generated, obviously, and that is where I generated it. Anyway, so there we go. There's my full disclosure and kind of telling you what I know. So let's talk about Replicant. Now, Replicant is talking about how much it's all going to build tomorrow's future. Why? Because it's an AI company, and apparently that's the law, which is unfortunate. Because every AI company, is inventing tomorrow's future, right? I mean, anybody in AI worrying about yesterday? Doesn't seem like it. I don't know how you'd make that happen. AI is a function of inventing a new piece of technology and bringing it to the world, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very future focused. So your career site claim that you're all future focused is already kind of starting at a slow spot. So we're going to work on the campus. We're going to say, I don't want the eraser. I want the pen. Technical difficulties. We want to say future focus. Okay. Hey, and the little computer handy dandy AI makes my handwriting just a little more clear. And thank you for that. So, what kind of claims are being made? Well, we've got well funded, it's a growing market. Who owns the company? They do a lot of experimentation. They want to offer a sense of ownership by letting you make more experiments. You've got career growth, which I think is a big, big claim on a company that is not that old and certainly in an industry that is relatively new. Ballsy. I like it, but I don't know how much I believe that. And I need a lot of evidence to make me say, got it. Humble, supportive culture. Okay, sure. I mean, in a world of AI where everybody feels like giants among men, gods walking among, us mere mortals, humble is a nice, interesting, differentiated claim. Let's see how they talk about that. And finally, perks and flexibility, because of course. So we're going to talk about, in terms of our claims, we're going to use ownership, experiment, and good luck with that. Hey, you did a pretty good job, computer. And humble culture. I don't know why I put a period there. Wow, yeah, it's getting better with my handwriting. That is a terrifying, terrifying fact. This is my Leonardo da Vinci handwriting that might as well be in code, which now I'm scared. All right, so these are the things they're talking about in terms of evidence strength. Obviously, they talk about the perks very clearly. It's well documented. Testimonials on values are moderate. Like we say ownership and support, but they're not really proving anything. They're just talking about more stuff. Market and growth claims are self-reported, so it's a little light in terms of claiming, but it's makes sense given its funding. So here are the most interesting claims: ownership, experiment, and humble, and those are the ones that don't have any evidence. Okay. Well, as a competitor, I'm feeling a little better. So let's move on to the next section. We've got a company that's Replicant is talking about future focus. It's not offering a lot of differentiation, and it's offering even less proof. Okay. So now let's talk about our own company. We're back to Sierra now. What are we talking about? What is in the model we start with is this a mission identified, experience identified, or a reward identified company? And you may have heard me talk about the MER model. I certainly go into it in depth in the book, but the idea is candidates only care about three things. What are we doing? How do we do it? What do we get when we do it? Simple as that. So when you start to think about how is my company different, those are three kind of filters or lenses, or if you're a De Bono fan, it's the hat you wear to say, how are we different as a mission? How are we different as an experience? How are we different as a reward? So in terms of Sierra, we're looking at, there's a lot of stuff about purpose, right? The evidence is everywhere. It's all about, we're building better, more human experiences with AI. They're changing the world. They talk about customer obsession and impact. Let's see, they suggest that, they believe talent will join to be a part of a visionary AI mission. Okay, so a lot of future focus as well, which is very mission focused. So you got future, you got human, AI merging. What else? We got let's see. So I asked some tools here. Their pitch boils down to join a top-tier AI startup where you can work on high-profile, cutting-edge projects. Okay, so, alongside elite tech founders. So there's a lot of. So that's the mission. The experience is so reward. You could say startup. You could also say experience as a startup, because everybody knows startups wear a lot of hats. It's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of moving parts. You're inventing it as you go, flying the plane as you go. I hear that phrase a lot, obviously. So that's part reward and part experience, and you can see it different ways. Let's see. What else do we have? I had a lot of notes. Cutting edge products. That's okay. Alongside tech founders. Not clear if that's a reward, if that's an experience thing. They do talk about their perks a lot. Let's see, and client reach. So this is more, it seems to me, I would think of this as, if we understand that the future thing is hard to differentiate because everybody's talking about it. So we can't really use future. The human AI one is interesting. I might consider that. But ultimately, this is idea of it's a startup plus. Let's do it a plus. So it's a startup. Oh gosh, here? This is me backing up. Watch the technology. Okay, let's go back to the pencil. Yeah, thank you. I got it. Thank you. So it's a startup, not an eraser. This is the part I got to figure out. Plus. So it's plus. It's a startup and more, right? It's got great founders. It's got some funding. It seems to be it's got clients. So it's kind of a tech startup, but it's kind of not. Maybe it's a tech startup with status. So it's a tech startup. It's a startup plus. This is kind of where these two ideas, human plus AI and the startup plus, is kind of where their claims are. Okay. So now that we've established their position, we got to orient it. We got to say, okay, how do we hone this so it's nice and clear? So it's not a bunch of, hey, it's a place where humans and AI and this startup plus, which sounds like gobbledygook, but you see how I did it. So you understand how it sits in my head. But now we're going to bring it to orient and we're going to see how do we hone it? How do we sharpen it? How do we test the value? How do we make sure it's working? So we use the SADR model, specific, attractive, different, real. How do we make this idea specific, attractive, different, and real? So right now, the claims are very vague in terms of specificity. It says forefront. It says best for parents. It says a lot of nice stuff without name. And it talks about how many great clients it has, but it doesn't name any brands on their career site. Maybe they name them other places, but honestly, don't force a candidate to go researching you when you could just give it to them. So specifics are very sparse. Okay, who is it attractive to? Well, obviously a mid or early career person, an engineer, product folks, someone who wants that prestige, who wants the excitement of a startup. So that's where Startup Plus is living. Yes, new grads, but also, they talk a little bit about parents, which is interesting. They're looking for tech-friendly, family-friendly tech work. They promised parental support, which is an interesting claim. And that's more of the reward thing. And that's something I like because it's a differential because you don't normally see that stuff talking about families in startups. So let's write that down. So we're talking about, family. Hey, it nailed it. And it almost looks like my handwriting, but better. Let's see. It's not as compelling for remote first candidates because they're focused in office. So it's in office. And then, you know what? I'm going to say, I'm going to rewrite that because in office is horrible. Man, if this makes me practice my penmanship, my wife is going to be so thrilled. Okay. So we got to worry about that. Obviously, anybody who's averse to fast-paced, intense environments, there's that startup idea. And indifferent to mission speak, there's a lot of talk about mission. Okay, good to know. In terms of different, their pitch isn't very distinct. So this is where we want to sharpen it. We want to help them sharpen it. So right now, what we're saying is something's there. It's just not clear and it's getting muddled with a bunch of other messages. And this is where the canvas really helps. It really kind of says, look, there's a lot of things you could say and it's very hard to keep track of them all. But if you write them all down and document them and kind of cross off, this isn't as different or this isn't as real or this isn't as specific, you really start to hone in on what really matters. So yes, you're using the founders' names, which is how they level up their technical skill and how they talk about their status. But that is kind of an insider detail. It's kind of a inside baseball. You got to really know a lot about the AI industry to say, oh, those founders, those are cool people. Without that unique angle, this kind of reads like every other tech startup, and that's a challenge. So, and it's in office, so you're not even kind of opening the aperture for the talent you're allowing in. Now, in terms of reality, the content reads as real since it's its own statements, but there's a lot of disconnects, right? They talk about being trustworthy and customer obsessed, but then the hiring is all in person, which there's that challenge of, if you trust us, why can't we stay at home? So there's a bit of friction, and I'm not saying it's impossible to overcome. I'm saying it is an area of opportunity. It's a chance for you to kind of explain yourself. I've always said that if you want to prove some claim you're making, go find the team that is least likely to embody it and show how it lives in that space. If you want to show how incredibly creative you are, go talk to lawyers, right? They're the ones who you're least likely to expect to be creative. Go talk to HR. You show me creativity in HR, I believe you were creative. Okay, I'm just saying. So if you say you are a certain thing, go prove it. Go connect the dots. Explain why. And explaining why is a secret trick that I don't think we do nearly enough of. We have to explain why we believe this thing, or why we made these choices, or why this benefit and not others. Those whys make up our DNA and make up so much of who we are, and what it tells people what to expect when they work here. So really important stuff. So don't see any scandals, don't see anything outside. There's nothing, terrifying to worry about, but the whole mission-driven thing has no external validation. Really, ultimately, you need some proof. So if we look at it, we're kind of going, oh, yeah, family, in office, startup plus. I don't know what we're going to do here. We could tighten it a bit to say, look, this is AI that we want people to use every day. There's that human AI connection, and we're kind of building it from day one. And from day one, you'll work on really interesting agents and stuff. That might be the call, the kind of who you are. So the idea is start up plus family, and let's call, what else we put here? So we've got a lot of like customers, but that's not a lot of good. We need a lot of more evidence before we say that's the right way to go. Every day is the tool you want everyone to use every day. That to me sounds interesting. There's enough. I'd want to sharpen it more. Ultimately, I'd want to sharpen a lot more. And we want to do a lot more research in the company and ask a lot of more questions and hear from a lot more people before we get to it. But for here, from the outside, that's enough. Okay, so let's get to communicate. How would we communicate this? So they don't do a great job communicating right now. Their content is fairly expected. It's what it's the normal stuff. But here I would say, look, what we want to do is, again, we want to use specific, attractive, different, real to communicate it. And in the book, I talk about why that's the same model for both. What we might want to talk about is interview with family. Now, in this case, you might say, oh, you're going to interview the dad or the mom and talk about how the company allows for family friendly. That's nice. Interviewing the entire family, that's interesting. That's different. That's not something you see. Show me the kid and the dog and the cat and the goldfish and all the other stuff, and talk about planning dinner and planning school or daycare or whatever it is, the ins and outs of life. If you're going to be all about family and that's your differentiator, which I think it could be here, it's certainly an interesting idea. Pull it through. Don't just talk about it, show it. And if you had a whole, a series of videos, and I mean like 4 or 5 videos of individual families talking about how working at Sierra really allows them to be, 1, innovative and focused and doing amazing, impactful work, but 2, not leaving a family behind, which, I don't know if you've heard about a lot of startups and a lot of, fast growing unicorns. It feels like if you're in China, you heard about 996. It's, you work 9 hours a day. You work 9 to 6. What is it? You work 9 to 9, 6 hours a day. There's not a whole lot of family time. There's not a lot of outside time. They want you to be focused on that stuff. And as AI and tech kind of spreads, some of that stuff is kind of getting through into the North America's area and EMEA market. So there's challenges. So if you want to show, hey, we're super family friendly, show it, get super clear. And that's what the communication section is all about. You can have an idea, but how do you clarify? How do you bring it to the world so they go, oh, I understand that. Okay. And from there, we would do a bunch of videos, have some, maybe talk to the founders and talk about their families and what about working with families and enabling families and supporting families allows for their work to go well and for their company to grow. Just connect those dots. No, it's not just a altruistic, we like families. It is, hey, by making this choice, and that is what it is, it's a choice, to create value through the family, because that's what that is. We see business value, because that's what we care about. Thusly, that you bring that story, that through line together, you're on to something really interesting and really powerful. Okay, so then we get to the connect section, and then you'll talk, and I talk about in the book pretty clearly. You'll see it. You cannot manufacture the connection. You cannot make someone fall in love with you. You cannot make someone become your favorite or become anybody's favorite on purpose or intentional. What you can do is see the goal of connecting with people, of making your content, your words, your ideas, your communication mean something to someone so that they are more likely to take action. So this step, which you can see in the canvas, is slightly separated from the rest of it. It's because you have to use this as kind of a North Star. Okay, what are our challenges here to make this connect with people? So if you have a story about interviews, okay, your challenge or the model you're going to use is exposure, contrast, meaning, and proof. Okay. If you've got exposure and you can do a 3-5 minute, 3 or 4 5 minute videos, that's a lot of exposure. I feel like I've gotten to know that family a little bit. I don't feel like you're hiding anything. You're not living behind the tweet character limit. You're not just saying, hey, we're great, and kind of holding it back. Here's an award. Just look at that. Don't look at us. That's really what it is. A lot of times in career sites, in recruiting journeys, we don't give enough information. We just don't. We super limit it because we're scared that it doesn't apply to everybody, and we water it down and it suddenly doesn't mean anything. You've got to expose your candidates, your applicants, to enough information so that they feel like, I get it. I can make an informed decision. 2, you want to contrast it. How are you different? How is this idea different from other companies? This is how you kind of keep that idea of always being different part of your game plan and part of your process. Meaning is, look, jobs are meaningful. Where you work usually often means something to the person who's making that choice. So what is the meaning you would like them to have? Do you want them to feel proud? Do you want them to feel like they're inventing the future? Do you want them to feel like they're raising a family, that they're a good person? These are all interesting ideas that might make sense in this model. So which one are you going to pick? You can't hit them all, right? You got to pick the one you want. So is it going to be a heartstring tugger? It's going to be like, this is a company that's growing families because we believe in families and we believe in strength and growth through families. Great. Lean into that. It's kind of an idea that every next piece of content, every next message, every next LinkedIn post connects to those ideas. Or it's simply proof. If your idea and your communication is clear, more proof is always better. Prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. We fall in a trap as an industry of not proving things enough, and that's our challenge. So in this case, I would say the first step is to figure out, what does it mean, or what do we want people to, what feeling do we want them to have because we're so invested in families? Is it because they're good people? Is it because they care about their families? Is it because this is a strong business solution? Is it because it's more comfortable and they feel more satisfied? They feel more proud? What is it? Get into that and figure that out. That is a completed canvas for Sierra from the outside. If I was on the inside, if they were paying me and they were a customer, we'd go way deeper. But hopefully watching me do these in different companies all the time is going to help you understand how you can be using it to get better thinking around your employer brand and your talent strategy. Because ultimately, if you cannot help your candidates choose, you're going to lose. So you want to build something incredibly, incredibly choosable. So with that, go check out Becoming Chooseable, available on Amazon January 5th. It's on physical copy. Yeah, it's gorgeous, by the way. I really spent some time. I just want to point out, I spent some time laying this thing out. I wanted to really think about what this looked like, what this felt like, what it was doing, et cetera, et cetera. Ebook copy's good too. It has all the same content. So go check that out. Go check out the report about all the 50 disruptive companies and subscribe. Go check, make sure you're seeing every week. I'm going to bring a new company to you and run this canvas so that you can see exactly how it helps companies make smarter, better decisions faster, more valuably. And if you read the book, you understand exactly how this helps you create value for the candidate so that better candidates say yes, which is ultimately what you really want. I'm James Ellis. I work at Employer Brand Labs. Employer Brand Labs is me. If you'd like to learn more about what I do, check out employerbrandlabs.com. Otherwise, go buy the book or go check out getchooseable.com to see more around the book and the choosability ideas. Thanks so much for watching. Go subscribe, and I will see you next week.